Greetings. Today's video is going to be on car control, and I feel car control is one of the most overlooked aspects of Rocket League. Yet I feel it's something that's so important. And I believe it's important because a lot of other tutorials, they focus on aerials, they focus on you hitting the ball, but they don't focus on the fundamentals, which is car control. And if it was going to go with football analogy to Rocket League, considering it's a football game, soccer game, whatever you want to call it, your car control is your footwork, essentially. So for today's video, this thing that's right in front of me, right here, it doesn't exist. So we'll just kick it to the corner. The ball is completely out of the equation. So first off, I'll start off with Powerslide button, and this button is very useful for car control. Another thing I'll point out is that it's completely separate from air roll, which I've bound to left bumper, but by default they're bound to the same key. So check your key bindings. And you can use Powerslide in numerous different ways. The way I use it is that I use it to turn around quickly. And there is also a little bit of depth on how to use it, but I'll get to that in a second. So, starting off with absolute basics, I see a lot of new players turn around like this, taking a wide turn, whereas this usually isn't the best way to turn around unless you want to keep your momentum up. But usually, if the ball is directly behind you, taking a wide turn like this isn't a good idea. It's a very slow way to turn around. Like, especially since Rocket League is a very fast-paced game, you need to be able to do things quickly. So, a faster way to turn around is the J-turn, and you perform a J-turn by holding reverse, holding your Powerslide button, and then flick your steering to either the left or the right. It's simple enough, but it's very useful for turning around quickly, and a plus is that it doesn't take much space. As you can see here, I can do it within the goalposts. But the way I do J-turns, which is a little bit more advanced, is that I combine both reverse and forwards and steering in opposite directions, and I'll explain what I mean in a second. So, when you do a basic J-turn, you hold reverse, you hold one direction, and then your car spins around. And it works, but sometimes even that's a little bit slow. So what I need to do is that, what I normally do is that I hold reverse, I flick my steering, and when I reach this point, I stop reversing, I keep the drift button pressed down, and I start accelerating. And while that might seem weird, if we put it together, it allows you to turn your car in a much smaller space, and it's also a little bit quicker. I normally prefer this just because it takes up less space. So if the ball's moving around quickly and I'm in goal, for example, defending, if the ball's over there and oh suddenly it's over there, I can just do like a quick J turn and it doesn't take up much space, like I'm relatively staying in the same position. Whereas if you just doing the basic J turn, it throws you around a little bit more. So that's one way of turning around, and I'll come back to the power slide button. Another way of turning around that I use a lot as well is utilizing the half flip. And this is the fastest way to turn around in Rocket League. And you can even add some boost as well if you want to turn around even quicker. And the way that you do this is that you backflip. But as soon as you've done the backflip, as soon as you've started that backflip animation, you need to be holding the opposite direction upwards. So if you hold it, you'll notice that you'll land on your roof, and if you jump high enough, you even start flipping the other direction as well. Yeah, you can see that I started to. But anyways, you only need to be able to land on your roof. Once you're able to land on your roof consistently and cancel the flip completely, you add in the air roll to land on your wheels. So step one is to learn how to do the half flip, and it can also extend to front flips as well. So if you hold forward, you do a front flip, and then you hold backwards as soon as you've done the front flip, you can land on your roof like that, and it can be useful if you just want to hit the ball in a particular way, or if you want to block, or whatever you want to do really. It's just useful to know, but it doesn't, as far as I know, it doesn't do much on side rolls. It only stops at 3/4 instead of halfway, so I'll just go over that one more time. Half flip, boost if you want to, and then use air roll to land on your wheels. Okay, so for the next part of my tutorial, the ball will exist. So before I do go into this, a quick note that I forgot to make on the half flip is that if you look closely, when you do a dodge flip, it doesn't happen on the simple double jump. If you look closely at your car's tyres, you can see a faint white trail, and something that can help you learn the timing. I'll go into dribbling, but I won't go into too advanced too soon, so I'll also be talking about the power slide button, how even in dribbling it's useful. When you're dribbling, if you use the power slide button, it can help you make sharp turns, but it's something that's not easy to explain, so it's something that comes down to experimentation. But I can tell you how to experiment. Experiment what happens when you hold or tap the drift button when you're turning in the same direction as the ball. And from experience, what I can tell you what happened is that if you do it correctly, you'll end up turning a little bit sharper. That's enough on dribbling, and for the last part of this tutorial, I'm going to be talking about why you should be power sliding more. Not with just the J-turn, not with just dribbling, but the reason why you power slide is that it allows you to turn quicker, and doing things quicker in a fast-paced game is always a positive. There's no set method on learning how to become comfortable with drifting, and it mostly comes from watching other players play or experimenting yourself. But the reason why I power slide a lot is that it helps me drift into positions, and it usually helps me to be always facing the ball. Because if you have your back to the ball, there's not much you can do. Like right there, you can see I've got into position for this dribble quite easily. And I apologise for not saying much and having long gaps in what I'm saying. I'm mostly recording this in one go. But it's mostly down to experimentation. Yes. But one last thing I can say is that when you're on the walls and you stop accelerating, it's as if you're holding the power slide button. Like I'm not pressing X at all, and I'm sliding off the wall. So when you're on the wall, you need to make sure that you're pressing acceleration or brake if you don't want to, or reverse, sorry, if you don't want to slide off the wall. But normally holding like a single position on the wall isn't a good idea, especially if you're the last line of defense, but that's a story for a different time. So I hope you've enjoyed, I hope you find this useful, and in the next video I'll cover car control but with dodge flips and some other useful tips on car control. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.